Well, greetings, everybody. Somebody just sent me this question from Ask My Instructor, and I thought it'd be good to do this one because when you look at it, you might be inclined to try to cancel the y's, but if you do that, the x's will also cancel, and then it could leave you in a situation where you're not sure what to do. So I'll show you how I would work it in that regard. What I'm going to show you, I say as a disclaimer, is definitely not the only way that you could solve this problem, but I'll solve it in a way that addresses that issue. Okay, so let's say that I'm going to call these equations A, B, and C, and I always do that in order to explain some of my steps. And I mentioned to you that if we try to cancel the y with the equations B and C, we're also going to cancel the x's. And so I'll just say, well, let's take advantage of that. We'll just do that, and we'll be closer to solving the problem because we'll get an answer. We'll get one of the answers. We're trying to solve for x, y, and z, and we'll get one of the answers right away. So let's do this. Let's do -1 times b, and then we'll add c, and that will look like this. If we do that, like I was saying, the x's and the y's cancel. Okay, so they're gone. That leaves you with only the z, and it will say -4z equals 2. And then if you divide by -4, you'll get z is -1/2. So like already we know one of the answers. Z right there is -1/2. Okay, now if you know that's what z is, then that's what it is. So what we could do from there, now that we know what that number is supposed to be, you see z up there, I know what it's supposed to be now. I could put that number that's now known into equations A and B. Okay, so if I do that, I'll reduce to 5x minus y is -1. Let's call that equation D. So we got A, B, C, now we got D. So we got a new one. And then if I put z is -1/2 into equation B, then I'll do like this. I'll reduce it to 9x plus y is 9/2. Okay, so what do I have here? I've got two equations in the same two variables. And we're headed in the right direction. Like generally what we do when we solve these is we have three equations and three variables, 3 by 3. Three equations, A, B, C, three variables, X, Y, Z. And then we reduce that to two equations and two variables. And then we reduce that to one equation and one variable. So now I've got two equations, D and E, in the same variables, X and Y. So my next step is now I want to solve D and E. Okay, how would I solve D and E? Well, I want to cancel one of the variables. I either want to cancel the X or the Y. Okay, that's how we proceed, canceling variables. But I noticed that I don't even have to do anything to these to cancel the y. If I just add D and E together the way they are, the y cancels. And then what am I going to have left? One variable and one equation. So okay, I'm going to add equation D and E. It looks like that. I'll get 14x is 7/2. I'll need to divide by the 14, or if you want to think of it another way, multiply by 1/14. And if I reduce this fraction, I say 7 cancels with 14, leaves me 2. I got 1/2 times 2, 1/4. Okay, so now I've got two answers. I know z is -1/2, and I know x is 1/4. What are we left to find? We're left to find y. So let's talk about how we would do that. We can find y from any equation. Think about it like this. You know what the z is supposed to be. You know what the x is supposed to be. Put those numbers into one of the equations that allows you to find the y. So if I wanted to, I could go back up and I could choose any of these original ones, put the x that I know in, and put the z, and then that leaves me with the y, and I'll solve for the y. Okay, so I'll do this. I picked equation A from the beginning. I put in x, which I know now to be 1/4, and I put in z, which I know now to be -1/2. That leaves me with the y. I did my reducing, as you see, and I get 9/4 for y. Okay. All right. So 9/4. There's our last part of the answer. Now we've solved for x, y, and z. Okay, so that's how you can proceed in a case where you're going to cancel two variables at once. Like if that's the situation you find yourself in, then you can go with that the way that I have here. It said type an exact answer in simplified form. I went ahead and dealt with the fractions. I actually don't know. I didn't try it with decimals, but like 9/2, that's 4.5. Maybe you could work with 4.5 and get decimals and so on. I didn't try it that way. I'll leave that to you to try if you want to. I know that it will accept the fractions. That's why I happen to do it this way. But in any case, that's how you can proceed with this one. Let me know how that sounds, and we can go from there.